Hello guys, welcome to a new video on Tower of God New World. And in this video, I'm going to do more of a channel introduction type of video because I noticed a lot of new faces on my Discord, a lot of new players started in the 1.5 year anniversary. So I figured it would be a good time to make sort of a channel trailer video that's been lacking for more than 300 videos now. So I'm a bit late in making this, but I just wanted to share with you my views on some things about the game, my philosophies, why I started to create content, and what you can expect from me, and also what you will never see coming from me. Those are going to be some of the points that we're going to talk about in this video. But yeah, mainly it was just to try to clear any possible future misunderstandings or past if you are someone that's been following me for quite a while. And I will just try to give you an overview as to, I don't know, like what my philosophy is to playing this game or giving advice. So we'll try to cover all of that in this video. And yeah, I would say we can get started with the introduction. Obviously, in the background, you will see me clearing hard mode, but that's something we all have to do. It's taking a lot of time if you have high links. This is just a chore. It takes a shit ton of time. So yeah, I figured it would just be something nice to have in the background while I speak. So yeah, for the introduction, I will just say that the reason why I started creating this channel and creating content in general is because when I started, and there was, I don't think it was day one, it was probably day 2 or 3 of the game, uh, we didn't really have a lot of content creators covering the game. There were like some of the famous ones that soon after sort of quit for other newer games. So this one was pretty much abandoned. And the only useful piece of content we had was a tier list made by the biggest whale at the time, or one of the biggest, that was called Monkey. It is not playing anymore. It was like the only piece of content we had, a tier list with some brief explanations. That's it. And I felt like that was not enough. And I felt like this game deserved a bit more content about it. So I decided to start analyzing like the content on my own, all the mechanics, all the units. I started to do tests, analyze the stuff, and I put them all together on an like on a spreadsheet. And while I was doing that, I was like, okay, I'm already saving stuff on a spreadsheet for my own use. Why not sharing it with other people? So that's how it all kind of started. I started making videos, sharing the link to my spreadsheet, and providing more insights and explanation as to how to navigate it and stuff like that. So this is more or less why it started and why you see this kind of content now. And yeah, that's more or less it. To follow up on this, I have the first point. That is, I'm by no means the best at this game. Not even close. There are a lot of people more knowledgeable than me, and I interact with some of them every now and then on my Discord. There are a lot of really good and smart people here. The only difference between me and you guys is that maybe I tested some things a bit more, I played for longer, or I tried more stuff. I don't know. But I'm just you that started analyzing the game. Nothing more. I'm not a super intelligent guy. I know nothing more than most of you. So just to put everything into perspective, don't expect my answers to be always correct. It will never happen. I will always do my best to give you informations after I analyze it and I understand it. I will try not to give you definitive answers basically ever. I always try to put everything into context. And yeah, that's more or less it for the first point. So again, if you disagree with whatever I say, you might be right. All I say is try to be like as respectful as possible with also other people in my Discord whenever it happens. When you have a different opinion, let me know. I'm always open to discuss some points to see why or you are thinking a certain way, to figure out what's the right thing, and then if there is a mistake in whatever content I made, I will correct it and let everyone know. So I'm always open for any sort of discussion. If you've been following me for a while, you already know. If there is something that doesn't resonate with you, please tell me. and we can discuss everything. So that's, I would say, the first point. For the second one is also kind of connected to this. I would say most of the points are connected to each other. The second point is that the tier list will never be 100% accurate. Some people will not agree. Also, some of the peoples I mentioned before that I asked them help also on building the tier list that you see now. So it's still like it's as correct as it can be, I believe. Definitely not everyone will agree. Some of the people that helped me build it also probably won't agree with all of the placements. And I would say it's fine. The main reason why there are differences is because different people might value some things more or less. I might value, I don't know, utility more than damage. Like let's say when I rank a unit, it's just random numbers, guys. It's not how I rank them. But let's say when I rank a unit, I might consider like 30% the damage they deal, 30% their survivability, and 40% their utility, something like that. There might be some other people out there uh, like ranking a unit 70% by their DPS, 20% by their utility, and 10% by their survivability. I don't know, like what people value might differ. Some other people might value sort of niche or situational units as if they were not niche. Some other people might say, okay, if a unit has a niche use case, for me it's worthless, and they might rank them lower than maybe I would. So that always depends on the person that's doing the tier list. Tier lists at the end of the day are just a sort of indication, but not an accurate one. They will never be. They are subjective to the person that made it. So I can kind of justify to you my tier list, explain to you why they are ranked in a certain position. But if you come to me and you say, I don't think like white should be in irregular, it should be in S rank at best, let's say. I could agree with you. Maybe you can provide me your point of view as to why you say that. You might be right from your point of view, from your account perspective. I can also tell you why I ranked him that way, even though white is probably the wrong example because I think I will lower him to S plus. I don't think DPS units will really fit the irregular category unless they are family heads, but whatever. Regardless of that, it's just to say there might be some differences in opinion, but we might also think the same way. Like I think I ranked Misang around A or A plus, I don't remember. If you tell me I think Misang should be lower, I could tell you you might be right because Misang is very situational. Somebody else could tell me, but I think Misang should be S tier. And I might say, you might be right. The main thing is the person saying Misang should be B doesn't value situational units as much. You might say, okay, she's only good at one thing, and that is reducing the energy of an enemy frontline unit. That's all she does. And someone might say, okay, for me, that's a B rank, B tier effect. And they might be right from their point of view. I cannot say anything about that. Some other people might say yes, but I use her so often because delaying by like 2 seconds the special move of an annoying unit is key, which is in some scenarios. So for that person, that unit might be S tier. So it really depends how much you value situations, how much you value certain effects, certain interactions, certain contributions. So again, tier list will never be 100% accurate. I don't know why I spent so much time on this point, but I think we can all agree on this. Again, don't take the tier list as a super correct uh, thing. Just look at that. Try to also read the additional information that you see here on my spreadsheet. I always try to provide some more perspective, saying what a unit does, what they're good at, and stuff like that. So it's always important to read the notes. Don't just look, okay, this unit is S plus, I'm going to build it. There might be scenarios where you don't need it for your account. So really, really depends. Now for the next point, it is something I already said a few minutes back. I rarely, if ever, give definitive answers. The main thing is well, at times the question is just probably too generic. Like if you ask me, is Gustang better than Darwin? I cannot tell you. Like, depends on how you rate better. If it's just talking about DPS, if it's just talking about, I don't know, different levels of investment. If you tell me both of them are Rainbow Five, it's a thing. If you tell me both of them are zero dupes, it's a thing. If you ask me three red Gustang against Rainbow Five Darwin, it's another thing. So if you just ask me, is Darwin better than Gustang? I cannot tell you anything. And I never will. I will never tell you, no, this unit is better. I will always ask for more information. And when you ask questions, please provide me as much context as you can. Don't just ask like, should I pull for Gusten? How am I supposed to know? How many pools do you have available? How much spendium do you have? Which kind of teammates you have for him? Which kind of, like if you already have a lot of DPS, you are very short on summons, you might not Rainbow 5 him. I will tell you, don't go for him. If you have 2,000 summons, I will tell you, go for him. It really depends on the context. And when I'm not certain about an answer, I will never give you a definitive one. I will always tell you in this scenario, this is better. In this other scenario, this is better. In your case, I would do like this, but I'm not going to tell you, you should do this. Like, I'm never that direct because I don't think it's fair for me to tell you what you should be doing. The best I can do and what all I'm trying to do is to provide you with information to make your own decision. I don't want to tell you what you should be doing, and I will never tell you that unless it's a really obvious one, in which case, like if you're trying to reroll three essence and on the first page, before unlocking the second and the third one, you're already rolling for the right stats, I will tell you no, stop, just lock every single A until you have the second and third page. That's obvious, and I will tell you that. But in most cases, most of the questions I've been asked, they've like I've never given definitive answers, either because I lacked proper information or just because it's not something I normally do. So just be aware of this. I'd say we can move on to the next point. And that is, before you ask a question, other than providing the right context, that's something we already talked about, you should check if the answer is already in the spreadsheet. Because as you can see here in the background, I have a spreadsheet with a lot of information, like what to build on a unit, what's important. I always try to put some notes here and there. So again, always read the notes wherever you can. And I've been asked at times, like, what ignition weapon to build on a unit. That's already been answered on the spreadsheet. And it might not be 100% correct, but I always try in the notes. Like if we go, let me open up the spreadsheet in the meantime. If we go over here to the right in the ignition weapon section, you will see sort of best in slot. This is not always accurate, and usually I write in the notes something to give some more perspective. So like for BAM, I place Rafflesia's best in slot. Is that the actual best in slot? Not necessarily. And in the notes I wrote, Runda, Rafflesia, or Doris are pretty much interchangeable. Use the one that fits the current scenario the best because they have different uses. Runda gives energy on the same line. Doris gives swiftness to the backline. Rafflesia is just a selfish sort of set. If you need to chain your special moves or your active skills more frequently, that's when you use Rafflesia. So different scenarios, different use cases, and well, actually Rafflesia is more for the energy that you get. So if you want to chain your special moves, whatever, you get the idea. Just different use cases, there might be some better options in like based on the scenario you're at. Some other scenarios on some DPSs, I might write some stats here in slot 4 and 5, and then in the notes I might say, but if you are meeting these requirements, then go with crit damage and Pierce, something like that. So always read the notes, they are important. And also read the headers because at times I always sort of add some more information. So you can see here like stats in bold have higher priority. If new sets have been released, like it's going to happen like in 2 days, I'm going to need some time to test them. So if you don't see them yet on the units, is because it's still a new set. It's going to take some time. And I will definitely make a video when I make these kind of changes. And also I also wrote this thing here in red. Don't build these sets at first. Refer to the preset in the ignition weapon column. If you are a new player, you won't have the possibility of building a set for every single unit. So you should use some sort of presets that you can share between multiple units. So that's what I want to focus in here. And this is the kind of information you will also see here. And yeah, I would say that's more or less all I wanted to mention for this point as well. So we can move on to the next one. And that is, I don't talk about PvP and I never will. The main reason about this is that PvP is only, and I say only, for whales. Do not ask me anything about PvP because I cannot help you. By your standards, and I also think mine, I am considered a whale. I have every single unit maxed, but that is not enough to qualify to compete in PvP. PvP in this game is super, super expensive. Like, don't even think about it if you're not a whale. And if you are a whale, ask other people on my Discord that are actually doing PvP because I know shit about it. I don't know anything. I just do random stuff. Really, don't ask me about PvP. I'm not interested in it because I don't have like the resources to be playing it. I like PvP, and I'm stressing it a lot, but I want it to be clear. It's really for people that invest a shit ton of money on this game. You need to invest on every single subnode of every single unit, like in terms of revolution, of every single unit, regardless of whether you use the unit or not. Because now we also have stats from the archive, and that changes massively, like massively. It's insane. You need so many resources. You need to buy a lot of packs, and you always need to keep on buying, or somebody else will overtake you. Do not get into PvP unless you know what it implies and you have the financial capabilities to like withstand it. If you don't, which I think 99% of the people watching me do not, don't bother about PvP. It's just a mode that doesn't exist. Let it be. Doesn't matter. Chill. Just enjoy the PvE aspect of the game. Don't stress about it. It's better for everyone. So I will never cover this topic on my channel. That's all I can tell you. And if you don't agree, but I think you do, I don't know, let me know. But I will never cover it. Everything you see on my spreadsheet is not for PvP. Every ranking in the tier list is not for PvP. I don't know anything about PvP, nor do I want to know. That's all I can say. Okay. So that's it about this point. We can move on to the next one, which is a pretty simple one as well. So I will not recommend anything that might be a bug. So, for example, in the past we had Child and Dorsey, that for those of you that don't know, has a passive that whenever she dies, she marks the enemies, like the enemy that killed her. If the enemy is below a certain threshold, they will be instantly killed. If they're not, they will be debuffed, like their defense will be debuffed, etc., whatever. So she had sort of a condition on an HP threshold that I think it's 50%. I don't know. I don't really care too much. But some people had a bug that it always procced. So regardless of the enemy HP, she killed them. So you just placed her in a position, the enemy jumped on her, you had a zero dupes in like Child and Dorsey with no gear on, no ignition weapon. She died immediately, and the enemy died as well. So it was an insta kill on annoying units. Really insane. Same thing happened for Hayuri, and Hayuri had it on an AoE. So she also has an execute when enemies are below 50%, and that always applied. So after 2 seconds into the fight, the whole enemy team was wiped out. That's a bug, clearly, because there was an issue in like not recognizing HP threshold. After they fixed it, also the super old Child and Dorsey bug was fixed. And I never rank units based on bugs. So even if you see my content, when I placed Child and Dorsey, she was not S plus because The insta kill is not supposed to be there, but people that had the bug, because it was not on every single device, kept on abusing it, and it's fine. I will share these kind of occurrences when they happen, but it will have no impact on my evaluation of the unit. Like for the recent Hayuri, I never took into account that she could execute enemies in my evaluations. So that's never going to be a thing in my content. And yeah, just in general, if you see a bug, I will mention it, but they're not going to be evaluated in my rankings. Even if they are not going to fix it anytime soon, I still will not consider that. So yeah, just sort of an heads up here. Now for the next point is just my game philosophy, or more or less what I think would be a good game philosophy for this game. And that is, as I mentioned before, PvP is not a game mode you should be worried about unless you are a whale. This game is not competitive, even though they will try to put you against each other in some sort of leaderboards. You see which one has like higher floors cleared, who was the fastest. You have different races in this game, but none of it really matters. Like, it's really irrelevant. To me, this game should be taken as sort of a PvE game. You can chill. You have no competition, you have no rush. Just chill. Your only competition is yourself. Try to clear as best as you can. Try to push as hard as you can, but don't compare yourself with other people progression. You don't know what they're spending, you don't know what they're doing. Don't worry about it. You are on your own. You focus on your game. You pull for the units you like or the units that can help your account, and you just enjoy it and don't worry about it. There is no real competition other than some things that they try to enforce on you. There is no rush. There are some units that might never come, so that's the only sort of FOMO that will have an impact on you, I would say. But even then, it's not a big deal. You miss the unit, okay, you might not progress as fast. Doesn't matter. This is a chill game. Enjoy it. Don't just worry about comparing yourself with other people. There is also positive competition, I would say, and I had that in the past. I think probably now more than 1 year ago, with some other people. One of them is Cizak, which is on the same alliance as me at the moment, and also another guy that's not playing anymore, as far as I know, Monkey D. We used to like compete a lot in adventure because we were similar links. We had basic like we were at the same floor, and we kept on trying to pass each other, trying also to steal the compositions of the other, just to see if we could improve our own and start climbing more. So there was this kind of positive competition. I would say it was really funny. But yeah, that's fine. But in general, like, don't take it super, like, it's not a competitive game. So just chill, relax. There's really no rush whatsoever. And I would say, guys, that's more or less what I wanted to share with you. If you have any questions, again, I'm always open to reply. So ask them in the comments or reach out to me directly over to my Discord server. And yeah, I would say we will see each other tomorrow. Hopefully, they will have to release Yama's and Casano's kit. So we'll see what they're going to do. Really excited for Casano. I don't really know about Yama. I mean, just the fact that he's going to be blue, it's really tilting me, but it's fine, I guess. We'll see. It's probably going to be pretty strong. And yeah, I would say we'll see each other tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching if you reached this point, and I will see you then. Bye.